Friends, welcome to Oath of Endosteel, episode 2, 3026, part 4. What we open with is a series of bandits riding on their former tanks, being shepherded by mech pilots, our heroes, protagonists at the very least. The bandits are being turned over to the local citizens council. It is clear that some of these bandits are going to have a rough time. Now, did you save some of these individuals? I recall in the post-game discussion, you all had perhaps wanted to offer the ones whose tanks were intact an option to join you. Does that happen?
No.
Yeah, I think the discussion was around like, yeah, do we provide them a path of redemption, or some form of that, and
give them to our employer.
That was what. Yeah, Lachlan wanted to just hand them over to Jacobson.
Maybe that's where I thought we were in agreement about that, but if not, we can have a scene about it. How you want them? So you want them for your own house?
No, not necessarily. I was I think from Kur's
Jacobson wants then, if we're not sure.
Okay.
All right. So Jacobson is immediately handing these people over as a sort of bonus offer. Sweeten the pot.
To the citizens?
No, yes, he's turning the pirates over to the people that the pirates have previously terrorized. No one's like thanking him or anything, but there's a lot of like, yep, better go get some rope, Sheriff. It's gonna be a long night.
Oh no.
Someone pulls out a copy of the unfinished book, and the pirates are just, they know that their time has come. There's no attempts to escape. I mean, they're surrounded by angry mothers and fathers carrying a variety of weapons from muskets to railguns, but yeah, like escape equals getting shot. Jacobson is concluding several of the deals he's made here, and you come in at the tail end of his speech that you can't rely on nobles to protect you. You're like me. We are people. We're just people. Now, I did bring a security force with me, and it should be more than sufficient to defend the planet. I could sublet them to you on 6-month bases, and we could trade goods in kind. I was thinking perhaps more of these kelp. And, you know, like the headsman of the town is like, well, you know, that sounds awfully generous there, Mr. Jacobson. I'm going to have to talk to some of the other headmen around here before I make any decisions. Why don't you stay the night? There's going to be a festival tonight, you know, sort of impromptu thing. He looks around. It's clear that when he says festival, what he means is a lynching.
I think like if they look to Lachlan, he's just gonna look over to Jacobson and just be like, I'll stay if we must, but I really don't want to be in this shithole any longer than I have to be.
You're not invited.
I didn't want to come. I wasn't talking to you.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So, I mean, you, whether you're playing a part or not, you certainly pissed off the local government even more.
No, that's just Lachlan.
Yeah, your mechs get tossed into the mech bay. It should be noted, Huntsman, that like your tech team is sobbing in tears when you walk in. They know that it's going to be a long night for them, and probably a long week of working under zero gravity conditions.
Yeah. I tell them I promise not to run afoul with any more SRM launchers. And yeah, I think it's a good point for me to flavor this as well. So Jasper's point of view of this whole place is that, you know, like, damn anarchists. This is why we need nobility. This stuff doesn't happen. It never happened in the Federated Suns. You know, I don't expect to hear an answer back.
No, there is an answer back, actually. Okay. There is such an answer back. And it's your guy, Davies.
Yeah.
He claps you on the back and he says, "Now, that's not particularly true. I've seen things like this happen from place to place."
You've seen a world like this?
Well, not this bad, but pirates can spring up anywhere.
Well, I'm talking about the world. These people need rulers. They need people like me to set an example for them.
It's a dangerous line of thought, my lord.
Raise an eyebrow. Say, yes, my lord. Like, yeah, like, tread carefully. I am actually your superior here.
All right. I mean, so just to be clear, this guy went into this thinking, yeah, you came to me to fatherly advice, and now it's all, yes, my lord. And
yeah, I'm being an asshole right now.
He was listen,
I'm pulling rank.
I want to tell you, we get a little prequel of Black and White. It's him talking to his wife. His wife mentions, she's like, "Edward, I heard you were talking to the Lord today, and you said that you were jealous when I talked to other men." And he's like, "Oh shit." And she's like, "You could be such an idiot sometimes." And like 15 minutes of that. But then we see a quick flash to 2 days later, he's on the dropship. And he's like, I didn't order this chest. What is this doing in my quarters? And he opens it up, and it's a freezer full of lunch for the next several months, home cooked, ready to go. And he's just like, yeah, that's right, I've still got it. We cut to this moment, holding behind his back, he's holding one of the lunches that he's about to present to you. But when you act like a huge jerk to him, he's just like, "Of course, my lord." And then he just
hold on.
walks away.
Sure, but I think there's some context here that Davies knows that also I'm pissed about being kind of bested by this pirate and having my mech ruined so much by them, that like I'm kind of salty about it.
Yeah,
he's a little bit of a tantrum. It's okay.
He's just not gonna deal with you right now.
Fucking anarchists, like, you know what I'm talking? Like I literally see these people as like the worst. Like this is like the Hobbesian, you know, just like natural state of people is this planet. Right, like this is the Leviathan. This is what I see, that there's no social contract at all in this place, and that's why this place has no technology. This place has no rulers. They just scream about this stuff about democracy, and they have no idea what it means and how hard it is to rule, and why you need better people like nobles to help govern you and govern the democratic process. I think that's how he sees it.
Everything you're saying is disgusting to me, but sure.
Yeah, I know personally, I know. Right, but this is welcome to nobility. Like, you can't be a noble and think that you're not better than people. Like, you can't. Like, it doesn't work that way.
It requires the warped viewpoint in order. Yeah,
it comes with the territory, and so that is what I believe. And I just see people like the nature, the natural state of this planet isn't because of economics and because of spheres of influence. It's because these people don't have the right set of values to begin with.
I equally like the idea. I equally like the idea that like Davies is smart enough and has been around the block enough to like know to just go the other way when a noble's in a snit. Yeah,
I literally will I imagine one of those sort of not like a doily. You know, like a doily hauling some sort of like component part. I just like shove that shit like into like a bunch of boxes.
You are definitely having a tantrum.
Yeah, right. Fucking anarchists, as I like just leave here.
It's an expensive mistake getting shot by the SRMs, right?
That's very true. I feel like there's definitely a moment where Kuro kind of pulls you aside and like while you're having that tantrum. Like
no, I'm sorry, I gotta block you off there. I'm gonna X that dude. No, I wouldn't have done. I would never do that. I would never lose my cool in front of you. That's not something I would do.
No,
Maybe
not
you
necessarily.
hear about it. You can catch me after it, but you're not going to stop me from doing that.
No, I'm not stopping you from doing it. I'm more like I was thinking that like I would visit you afterwards, like as you're cooling off in your room or something like that, and like I would just walk up, like knock on the door.
Or I'm blasting some music, or I'm listening to that one mech battle show really loudly.
Yes. So and I'm like,
Immortal Warrior.
You watched that too? No. I knock on the door.
Yeah, it slides open for you.
Okay.
What, man?
Look, it's been a rough time here, and I know it's hard to be bested in that situation, and
I like visibly tense up when you say bested.
Yeah. But look, we all make mistakes. And it's how we react to those mistakes and how we learn from them that makes us better. And this may be a backwater planet that doesn't have the education or the sophistication that we have. But they can be better too if they learn from what we did. That's why we came here. To help them. To show them a better path.
Maybe you did. I didn't come here for that. I'm being like pretty candid with you. I said I came here for the money.
I mean, obviously I did too, but you can still have a noble purpose even with money changing hands.
No, if I'm doing that, then I have to be perfect. I can't make mistakes like that.
Then learn from it. Then learn from it. We will get better.
No, I can't make mistakes. You don't understand. I'm not someone who makes mistakes. Not anymore. And there's a small flashback, and this is a small scene, and you see that I am in a simulator, and I'm like 10 or 11 playing against my older brother in like a Mechwarrior battle, and he like kicks my ass because I make a stupid mistake. And and my brother is trying to gives me a very similar speech to you, being like, just dude, you're young, get just some time, dude. Just like, you're not better. Like, I'm not actually that much better than you, man. And you just see me like seething with rage, and you just get the feeling that I've always been in that sort of shadow of like my older brother has been perfect and doesn't make mistakes, and I'm this fucking kid who has to go, and I'm like
keep learning from your mistakes.
And then and after that shit, I'm like close my browser looking at the various applications to military schools, and it's like I'm just kind of raging about it. And you're like, you don't understand. I don't make mistakes anymore. It's too high. The stakes are too high. There's no one. We are our family now. Do you get that? And like I get in your face and like push you. Like, do you get that?
And you see like attention in Kuro's face, and like, yes, I lost a lot of family. And I know exactly what is at stake here.
I start to cry. Like you see like a tear go down my face.
Yeah. I think there's like a moment where like you see like is Jasper like accepting to like hugs and things like that, or like embraces?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think you have to take a shot.
Okay, yeah, I think there's, and this is not something that Kuro necessarily does on a regular basis.
We don't.
Yeah. So I think like there's just this like hesitant but kind of testing the waters of a strong, like firm embrace, one arm, to see if you like reciprocate.
Yeah, I do, and I immediately like hug you super hard, and you feel me melt for a minute, right? And I'm like, I miss him so much, man. Fucking miss him, man. And like,
I miss them too, all of them. We will be the best that they want us to be. we just have to learn from every time that we make a mistake and pick ourselves back up like they would want us to.
It's really, really hard. Really, really hard.
And I think like you feel a little bit of like water kind of building up on your shoulder as Kuro is also tearing up.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where
it's seen.
Fade.
Very nice.
If you all are not attending the night's festivities, then the next morning, large vats are loaded onto the dropship, where the dropship's fusion core is used to vacuum seal everything inside. The mercenaries on board have all moved into town. And
what's their name, by the way? Mercenary group.
You have never asked, and they have never offered it.
Okay.
Would we be able to
I would assume
ask?
I would have heard of them.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, because they're in the roster, right? On the dropship, maybe.
Right.
They are in the dropship roster.
We spent 3 weeks on a dropship together. Like, how
We
do I
probably-
not know
We
every single
spent
person?
more like 10 weeks on a dropship together.
We spent 10 weeks. How do I not know every single person's?
They might have given you names, but they were fake
Sure.
names. And the
Oh,
name
shit.
they never discussed the name of their unit.
Okay. What has the crew rumored their unit's name is? What are the 3 different possible names that they
So the crew suspects that these guys are actually Federated Sons, like a Black Ops intelligence
Spec
unit.
Ops. Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, does Kuro recognize them?
No, Kuro has no idea who these people are.
So yeah, these are
They
some fucking
don't
like,
move like Federated Sons.
these are ghosts.
Rabid
you know,
Fox
some modern
operators.
warfare. One of them has a fucking skull mask face thing.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them probably has a rifle with "You're fucked" written on the nameplate, don't it? But
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Fucking
Yeah.
gold. Got the gold skin. Gotcha.
Of course.
yeah. So these guys uptake their new duty, which is to secure this planet. It's clear that your boy Jacobson has gotten a good price. Like, he's leaving behind a lot of military equipment. He's sold the local community the scrapped Scorpion tanks and the regular Scorpion tanks that the mercenaries are going to convert, so that the local citizens council can have, in the end, it's going to end up being 4 finished Scorpion tanks over the next few weeks, so that they can defend themselves in
Sure.
if the
Well, they don't have
mercenaries
the
ever
crew,
leave.
but that's fine. I guess
Yeah,
the mercs
well,
can train the crew.
Yeah,
That was kind of my intention.
That is part of the mercenaries deal, is that they're
Yeah.
going to train people in self-defense.
Yeah.
That was part of my intention.
Or like the U.S. consultants in Vietnam.
Oh God.
Like,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Jacobson is leaving with 2 mech bays filled with vats
Pallets of money.
of this beer kelp that's going to be converted
Oh,
into
yeah.
this beautiful, high quality golden brew.
Yeah.
Does he provide us some beer as part of the...
Some samples, some
Some
kegs.
samples?
It's gonna take at least 6 weeks for that shit to mature. So
I mean,
I
we're
meant
on-
like-
we're
I
on the
meant
I mean, no, he's not.
100%.
He's not fermenting it on the dropship. He's got to.
I more meant like
Go on,
proof
Pete.
of concept. Like, here's what you have been fighting for. Kind
Oh,
of.
well,
like, this is what I'm going to be
Look,
making.
you have
out
10
of this.
weeks of jump ship travel back with him. And before, he was too busy to ever meet with Lachlan. But now, feel free for each of you to set a scene of whoever you want to talk to on the dropship transit back. It should be noted that you're through with Pride and Royalty, which I believe was the name of the Noble series, emulating Hans Davian having some sort of fictional romance with the extremely young daughter of the Archon of the Lyran Commonwealth. You're through with Immortal Warrior. Everybody's already seen it once and then seen the highlight episodes again. You know, everyone's reviewed all of the latest Solaris Battlemech matches, even the tag team matches, which no one really likes. It's a
I go
bracket
back.
that no one really gets into.
I think.
I go
Go ahead.
Hold on. I don't know. I think there's an extra scene there for a minute because I think I go back and listen to the trailer for Immortal Warrior.
No. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet.
I can't stop it.
No, you have to stop. First off, I don't. Yeah, no. You gotta stop it, man. You gotta save it for when we do the other thing.
Comes a point in every man's
No,
life.
damn it, Eric.
We ruined
I'm
it.
gonna have to talk the whole time so that people don't hear this shit. And you know what? I'm actually just gonna cut the thing off. Look, for those of you at home wondering what the fuck is happening, Eric wrote a trailer for the Immortal Warrior movie, which he was supposed to reveal at an opportune time. We're gonna have to listen. All of us are gonna have to listen to this shit again. That's. I told Eric that I would give him the cue to deploy it. You jumped the gun. You jumped the gun. We'll get back around to it. All right, I'm gonna.
Is that one elf from Two Towers that shoots early when they're yelling at them?
Oh, and the orcs just go. Ah!
Exactly.
God damn it. That wasn't an elf, by the way. That was one of the humans.
It was one of the humans.
Yeah,
it was the old guy.
fine. Yeah, no, you're right. It is the old
Couldn't
man.
hold the bow.
The old man.
All right.
Elves wouldn't prematurely fire bow. Anyway.
Anyone have anything they want to do on the jump?
I definitely do, but someone else should have a scene.
So of course Jacobson has a 6-pack of his new proof of concept. It's called Periphery Gold is the name of the beer, and it has a nice brownish amber flavor, lots of bubbles to it. Not a considerable head, but if you add a little bit of salt, it gets, it can get in there. Gets some foamy.
Nice.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I think there was the only scene that I think of right now is potentially something between us three. But then I think there was talk of further deals with Jacobson, like the combination of us three. I can't remember exactly what I said last time, unfortunately. But we were talking about doing like a full Lance meeting with Jacobson about I think trade deals, maybe working on the tariffs, finding some alternative for Lachlan, myself doing something with educational materials or like expanding on Jacobson's like cultural exchange kind of thing. But that's the only thing I was thinking of.
Tell me how you want to get into that.
Well, I'll wait until others and I'll think about it for a second, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was gonna do one with Jacobson, just like because I know, if I recall correctly, Jacobson was still trying to like had been like over time, him and Kuro had been like trying to convince, like slowly work on Lachlan a little bit when it comes to the tariff issue.
Okay.
So
I think you find Jacobson in the jump ship's like executive lounge area. This is not super huge because it's a jump ship, but it is a room set aside personally for him. Lots of open shots into space as he floats along in 0G with a bulb of periphery gold that he's sipping on, and just says, "My lord."
Good to see you, Jacobson. Yeah, appreciate the time you've given me here today. I have noticed that you have been sending me along quite a bit of information about your projects out here.
I have no idea what you could mean. I understand you've had several meetings with the jump ship captain during
yes,
transit.
Yes. Fair enough. I'm sure you have nothing to do with that. Anyhow,
I think you'll find that my crew are as dedicated to my mission as I am. You'll find that when one needs to spend the kind of money that one does in order to purchase a jump ship, you tend to seek out like-minded individuals.
That makes sense. I would never want someone to work on the William Wallace that I don't see eye to eye with, so I can understand you feeling the same way about a dropship as fine as this.
Jump ship.
Whatever.
I also own the dropship, but yes.
You get my point, Jacobson.
One docks with the other, but yes, exactly.
Sir Jacobson, I want to talk to you more about these tariffs. They're very important to me and to my house, I hope you know, but I think there may be some middle ground we can reach.
He's just calmly sipping on his 0G bulb beer and says, tariffs, no tariffs. The money is not totally the obstacle here. The laws in place preventing the transit of educational material out of the Federated Suns to people in need are cruel and pointless. But yes, also the tariffs are very important. Obviously, knowledge has a price, but the price needed to take such data out of the Federated Suns is far beyond what the people outside it can pay.
I hope you understand, Sir Jacobson, that what you see as cruel and pointless feeds my people. I understand.
I think he laughs and interrupts you and says, no, what feeds your people are my jump ships and drop ships bringing goods in and out, paying service fees, mining fees, fueling fees. Yes. Educational material has to be such a small part of your financial portfolio unless I have greatly missed the mark.
Well then, Sir Jacobson, perhaps herein lies the opportunity to make it a larger part of my portfolio.
I see.
You see where I'm coming from. I think we can help each other. I have come to realize over the time we've spent together, what with your captain's diligent attention and the help of my lance-mate warlock, I am thinking that you may be right, that the restriction on export of educational materials is really more harmful than it is helpful when it comes to making sure that all is in balance in the world and everybody is in their correct place. Now, I want to make sure that I can help you, but I have to be able to, well, I can't just do it for free, as you say. So, let's talk through how I can help you and how you can help me, and how we can make sure that we can sell your educational materials out here in this middle of nowhere hellhole.
Well, not this planet specifically, but in the Outworlds Alliance.
I'm sure they're all very much the same level of hellhole.
I think he laughs as the ship is like floating away from Wider. He goes, "There's no place quite like Wider. It is uniquely backwards."
Fair enough. Fair
enough.
What
I like so much about it.
Anyhow, as I say, I see the opportunity here. I think you are right in that these laws are perhaps a bit antiquated, and I'm willing to help you get around that so long as it doesn't hurt my interests financially.
Well, it would be illegal for me to bribe you, of course, directly. However, I am prepared to make the maximum limit campaign contribution to your election as President of the Senate.
Ooh.
A role to which you may never actually be elected to, and yet your contributions will remain open so long as you continue to run.
So I think, so here's the thing, is the moment he says this is so to step out of character for a second, he has the bait, but he is trying to lure Lachlan in with the hook instead, right? Like the real bait here is, now that he's put the idea in Lachlan's head, Lachlan totally thinks he could be the president of the Senate. So he will think about it for a moment, and he'll say, Jacobson, Sir Jacobson, I like where your head's at. House McDougal has too long been in a position to not do enough for the people. You're absolutely right. Head of the Senate, Lachlan McDougal. It's perfect. This is everything. Together, me and you, we'll change Whittington. We'll change the whole Federated Sons. This is perfect.
If you would like to hire on my promotional media corporation branch to help you run your campaign.
Excellent. We'll do a commercial. We'll do many commercials. This is perfect.
You can tell that this is going way beyond what he had anticipated. And he says, we'll come up with a social media plan. I'm not particularly skilled at such things, but my staff are, well, they got me where I am.
Perfect. I can't wait to tell the others. This is great. Like, he's gonna like hold out. I don't think Lachlan has did this before. I think he probably snubbed him, but he'll actually go to shake Maximilian's hand.
Oh yeah, Jacobson is a 1990s New York businessman. He'll absolutely shake your hand and then give you the left hand clasp over both hands as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lachlan will exit this meeting flying high. He'll definitely if Kuro is interested before setting up this three-way meeting that he's working on, Lachlan would definitely not be shy about this new information.
Anybody else have anything they want to do before you get back to the inner sphere? Are you raising your hand, Eric?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Go for
ahead.
But definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to meet with Jacobson as well.
All right.
Nice.
Maybe we zoom forward 5 minutes of Jacobson in quick motion, just sipping on his bulb, and then there's another ring at his door, and he presses, or he says a voice command out loud, and the door slides open.
Yeah.
Jasper, my lord.
Thank you.
Please come in.
I want to thank you for this opportunity. It's just been super fun killing these riffraff here. I'm sure everything worked out well for you too.
It indeed worked out well. I'm afraid I wasn't aware that you were so bloodthirsty. If this kind of thing interests you, I might have similar opportunities over the next few years.
We'll see.
Very well. What can I help you with? Seem
advice.
troubled.
I could use some strong advice coming up this winter. Referring to the Senate, right?
What do you require advice about?
Well, I'm a little bit concerned about my transgressions with the anti-Cretans bloc of our Senate. I originally thought they had good intentions, and it seems that they desire more of a suicide pact than actual proper procedure. Now I feel like I'm digging myself into a hole.
He floats to face away from you and says, very young. Do you know that?
Sure.
It's not an insult, but your companions...
I would like to avoid eating a second round of SRMs, and this time on the Senate floor.
Your companions have a decade or more experience with the Draconis Combine. You have earned your Dragon Slayer's ribbon at quite a young age, but you have mostly known peace from them. In your early childhood, and indeed before you were born, your seniors were busy killing invaders to our world during the Third Secession War. Your parents fought. Grandparents fought. Their grandparents fought. We border rats, we've been fighting the Draconis Combine for a very long time. So it's very hard for someone of their age to trust in this newfound peace. I think you'll find that moderates have many friends among other moderates, but few among the extremes. And even though Yohei Genji seems extreme from where we are located, he is considered a moderate among the Draconis March. For one thing, you don't see him launching yearly raids across the border, despite our peace. And he turns back to face you, and he sips at his beer and says,
What about the concerns from that faction that will occur a little more domestically, referring to my house's situation and the investigations?
I think that you are at a dangerous crossroads, my friend. You are so very young to be responsible for the fates of so many workers and so many people, and that the true thing you need to be concerned about is, and I must put this delicately, marriage. You require an heir as soon as possible, but I must tell you, with 2 divorces behind me, getting married for love is really the only reason to get married. And having seen your performance at the ball, I don't know which of these women you love, but I think you're going to need to make some very quick decisions when you get back.
Oh, it's been decided.
I see. Then I expect that your little romantic compromise will come back to haunt you.
Very well. Any advice you can give me?
Trust your friends. Compromise where you can, counterattack where you can't. You can abandon a plan to be flexible, but you can't invent one on the spot. This is the first, last, and only rule that I live by, though. Business is everything, and business is about trust. I can sell someone a half-working machine, but if that machine stops working shortly afterwards, they're never going to buy from me again. But 20 years down the line, if I sell them a working machine, they're buying servicing, they're buying parts, they're buying the next generation. You can try to get away with what you can stuff in your pockets, or you can work towards a future together with everyone that you can, anyone that will listen, any side that will do business with you. Because business is about trust, and everything is business.
And what is this business that keeps trying to get you kicked off of the Senate? Have your knighthood revoked? Sell them some faulty tanks? I joke to them.
I represent trade with the Draconis Combine.
They're willing to...
I do business with Valentine. Valentine sells me things to bring back to Whittington. That is a problem for some.
Oh.
They would rather protect their own goods, or at the very least starve the Draconis Combine out. But I think what people don't realize is the kind of goods you move on a dropship are not food supplies. A planet that can't grow its own food is dead anyway. It's luxury goods. You know, it costs 50,000 Comstar bills to move us through each one of these jumps. Each one of our passengers, 50,000 Comstar bills. That's not counting your mech transit costs. Now, of course, I'm paying these bills to myself. I own the dropship, I own the jump ship. But can you imagine what it costs to transport heavy machinery? What it costs to transport food? Ridiculous. The kind of goods you move on a dropship are the kinds of things you can't get anywhere else. What Valentine needs, what Whittington needs, each other can provide. Other planets can provide. that Whittington, that Valentine cannot. And there are some people who don't like that. They would rather everyone starve than to succeed.
I pretend to understand what he said.
Okay. He slides you over a bulb filled with beer.
Jasper's brain is small. That's pretty good. Let's take another sip. Yeah, that's like I literally can't contain the That's really good. Ah. Well, certainly be seeing you at our wedding.
I believe my staff informed me I had a invitation.
Yeah, to the Kerensky ball / triple wedding.
Indeed. Wedding. I expect that there will be quite a bit of news when we return about these weddings.
Yeah.
It's something of a fad, and I'd heard a lot through some of my younger female colleagues' contacts about doing something similar.
Okay. I think that's probably like seen. I don't really have much else.
Yeah, he just says, "Have a good," and he looks at his wristwatch. Afternoon.
I start to leave, and then I kind of go back for a second and like grab that glass or grab the beer.
Yeah, it's just floating upside down, slowly rotating.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm actually gonna take that with me.
Kuro, what do you got?
Well, I was debating on whether or not I have a solo scene or do something with the group.
You got one shot.
Yeah.
Use your next words carefully.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go in solo. So I think what happens is Kuro approaches where like he's been told Jacobson is, and Sir Jacobson,
Lord
if I could have a moment, if I could have a moment of your time.
Please come with me. And he ducks into what could either be a meeting room or a closet. It's hard to tell. Jump ships are not very big.
Fair. We talked earlier about perhaps expanding your capabilities of these materials, and I hope the conversation with Lachlan was successful.
You're speaking about educational materials.
Yes, I wanted to see if we might be able to form some form of partnership. You see, I feel that my family has done well on Whittington itself, but there's more I feel that we could do.
I see. Perhaps, again, I'm not sure about the exact details, but there will be some form of agreement with House McDougal, I expect, and should compromises be made, the kind of work that you do, to my understanding, videos and textbooks would not be enough. You would need to provide personal trainers to live on these worlds and spread your form of, how should I put this, philosophical martial arts.
Yes.
Those people would need transportation services.
It is possible that we could provide a cadre of individuals that are willing to expand the teachings that we provide. If you are willing to, for my part, in loosening the restrictions that you have.
It is not my restrictions. It is the restrictions of the world of Whittington and the Federated Suns government. If anything, you are more capable of loosening the restrictions than I. However, yes, you could, if such walls fall, I would be most willing to work with you on a transit and supply plan to help get your business set up in the Outworlds Alliance. But if I might offer a alternative path, the military government of the Outworlds Alliance has been having a lot of trouble with morale, discipline. Desertion rates are high, and discontent against the government is equally high. What they could use is someone to help refocus their abilities.
I feel like Kuro strokes his chin here.
An exclusive government contract to help train sections of the military. Loyalty, honor, discipline, physical combat prowess. Could provide a lot more money than a civilian open contract.
I see the wisdom. I see the opportunity. Yes, I think perhaps we can arrange something there with something with the local governments of the sorry, can you remind me as a player? What was it called?
Outlands Alliance.
Outlands Alliance. Or Outworlds? Outworld?
Yeah, Outworlds Alliance. Yeah.
Outworlds Alliance. The Outworlds Alliance.
Outlands might be from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. It is canonical. Sure. Sorry.
That is an area that I think my family could certainly provide great strength. That is how we won the hearts of many. Perhaps what we can do is have each other's support in the Senate to propose something of a reform of the tariffs.
I think you'll find that my support in the Senate will be as negligible as my non-vote in the Senate.
I see. Well, you are an influential person. Perhaps not always on the House Genji or the anti-Karitan side, as was shown in the last Senate hearing. But I'm sure we can rally some support for our efforts here.
I look forward to your leadership.
Yours as well. Thank you, Jacobson.
After 7 weeks of travel, you wearily re-enter the inner sphere at the edge of the Federated Suns. And the very first thing that happens is you get a dump of all of the media that's happened over the last 19 weeks. And over every comm panel and every every microphone, every speaker in the jump ship and the drop ship comes, this winter, da-da-da-da-da. See how it all began. Da-da-da-da-da. And then there's a minor key solo piano playing at half speed. You're not sure what the music is, but it sounds familiar. We hear someone say, "Staff Sergeant, it is in the interest of the Lyran Commonwealth to initiate the operation. We're asking you to lead the team." And someone hands a dossier over to a digitally de-aged version of the Immortal Warrior, who accepts it and opens it. The orchestral theme resolves into the theme song of the Immortal Warrior. The next scene is a Draconis Combine functionary takes a passport and says, "Welcome to Rasserhag, Mr. Rothfuss." There's a Nordic warrior woman in a sci-fi 80s tunic with huge cleavage exposure who crosses her arms to lift her chest and says, "Lyrans, We don't need you here. We can earn our freedom our own way. Before turning her head and going, the next scene is an internal security force agent in the typical all-black sneaking suit with a red 360 visor helmet. He's weirdly stroking a poster of the immortal warrior that just, it's like, you know, like, this is a terrorist on planet. Capture him. Do. This winter, warriors aren't born immortal. Do. They are forged. Do. In the fires of war and tempered in ice. Immortal Warrior's origin, Dragon Clash in the Kingdom of Ice, coming soon. And then it says, and if you haven't had enough Immortal Warrior, Immortal Warrior, the movie, releasing now. All right, Eric, now you can do it.
It was just another day on the frontier until the pirates arrived.
Dad, the pirates are too many. Listen, son. Comes a point in every man's life. You're just gonna have to do it. Leave. Get out of here. Go. No, Dad. I can't do it.
One kid is about to find out how second chances come once in a lifetime.
I'm not a little kid anymore.
I've become the best Mechwarrior. This summer, pain is temporary, but revenge is immortal. Immortal Warrior.
This film is not yet rated. There you go.
So good. So good.
Nicely done, Eric. Nicely done.
You all have a lot of messages that have been pre-recorded waiting for you over time. Some of it is business. Probably the one that pops out for you, Lachlan, is that your space station has been occupied by a military force.
What?
Yeah, yep.
That's my house.
2 regiments of infantry have arrived on planet, delivered by March Lord Aaron Sandoval, in order to, in his words, reinforce the local populace and provide defense against the kind of raids he's seen. He sent with them a 14-year-old Baron who has announced his intent to get married to Harmony Lake, so they're having a arranged marriage. And these infantry, a full battalion, are occupying your space station in order to secure it against
Just like
attacks.
Until further notice?
Yes.
Isn't there some sort of Federated Sons Anti-Quartering Act, AP?
That would be true if it was a house, but it's a space station, so...
My house is the space station.
Your house is on the planet. It's an estate, and you own a space station in geosynchronous orbit over your house because it's right over the spaceport.
Yes, well,
Space
difference.
Station Ivory Tower is now officially occupied by the Federated Sons. It's not so... They don't belong to the Federated Sons military, and they also don't belong to the Draconis March militia. They are mercenaries that have been raised from the local populace of the Draconis March by the March Lord and are being paid out of his pocket personally to arrive here.
So who's in charge on planet?
The person in charge on planet is technically Countess Harmony Lake.
She's in charge of these mercenaries.
She's 2 years old,
basically
though.
Granted. Yeah, but her
the person in charge of the mercenaries is this Baron political advisor that he has sent with them. This kid is 14 years old. Yep.
So who's really in charge is what I want to know.
It's not something you can determine via age of sale level communication.
Fair enough. Then yeah, that's like we see like the frantic email writing, like answering all of the messages, and like one of the emails is like sent to whomever in the house, like whatever, like seneschal or whatever, business manager is there to help me out. I'm just like, find out who the fuck is in charge of this. Like lots of angry emailing about how there are soldiers occupying my spaceport.
There are several other small issues. House Hiroka, not your personal account, but your House Hiroka account has an outstanding message from Planetary Security requesting that you come in for an interview at your earliest convenience.
Yeah, kind of expected that.
All of you have strongly worded questioning condemnation from Sir Erwin Faber Lake Reincolt, essentially asking, where are you? Why didn't you tell me you were leaving? And what part of you must defend the Lake Dynasty as your oath is difficult to understand?
It's
Wow.
a pretty valid point, honestly.
God damn it. Yes.
Yeah, that happens. You also all have requests for interviews from none other than James Jives of Donegal Broadcasting Corporation.
I absolutely will take him up on that.
Well, I gotta do my own interviewing, not the public ones first.
And Lachlan, just to pile on your troubles, your business manager has informed you that through careful maneuvering on her part, your mistress, whose name you aren't even aware of, but he attaches the photo, has set herself up in your actual house as your art manager director. Like your charity galleries, your personal art collection. She applied for the position and was accepted, and is now essentially living out of your guest house with your child, your love child. And even worse, she seems to be having a friendly, cordial relationship with Xenia, who sees literally no one but like 10 people.
No!
Yep.
Oh my God.
Her name is Rosamund Alicia Robinson, and she and little Celeste have been spending a lot of time with your wife.
Well, to be fair, I was planning on trying to, get the Celeste involved in the family so I could educate her up right. But I was not expecting that, but that's okay.
As with most things, do not expect them to go the way we plan.
Yeah. So what do we want to take care of first here?
Yeah, seems like a long list.
Does Kuro have any disappointing messages to read?
His inbox is 3 messages.
Yeah.
I mean, no, you listen, when you come back, Kuro, your inbox is like all thank you messages from all of your former students, motivational speaking opportunities, promote like energy drink promotional things. Your inbox is more full than anybody else's, but none of it is bad news. It's all like super positive stuff.
Except for that one like overdraft notice, on like the house funds.
Exactly. It's like, God damn it. You had to bring it up.
Your accountant does indicate that the spending for the Kerensky ball is perhaps burgeoning your current income flow.
Yeah, I feel like there's a quick reply. It's like I'm returning with further assets to help curb the losses that we have been incurring. Oh my gosh, it was a lot to take in. Anyone have like a list of how maybe priorities?
I want to do that interview, but I don't think that should be a priority for me.
I mean, your spaceport's being occupied. That seems like a issue.
I think that
not the spaceport, the space station. The whole planet has infantry troops that are being spread around it in order to counteract any raids.
Oh, I see.
Since the local military is so spread out and individualized, the House Lord has decided to March Lord has decided to reinforce your peculiar strategy with one of his own.
Okay.
There's a strangely large concentration of them in the capital, though.
Unless somebody has something else to do, the first thing I should probably do is go see Bassett.
All right, so
to talk politics.
You land, and it's just a few weeks until your wedding. Where are you? Are you talking to him at his house?
I would probably invite him to come, like, have like a lunch or something with me and Xenia or whatever. Like that's
Okay,
like
yeah,
the pretense is a like premarital like
of course,
get together.
As he walks through the door, he says, "You know what? I've been thinking about it. We need to get rid of Erwin. All right? What do you think about being president of the Senate?"
This is amazing.
I think we have the votes. We can just force him out, get him out of politics forever. He can take care of the kid.
I've been planning. I was just talking. I was going to tell you that I was planning on running.
He gives you the double finger guns and says, "Great minds think alike." You know what they say.
I think I'll be a great president.
I also agree. Not only will you get an extra half vote in order to break ties, not that there's likely to be any ties, but it pretty much cements our domination of the political landscape.
This is excellent. Now, there is one thing I wanted to tell you about.
He interrupts you to say, "Xenia, why don't you bring us some tea?" And she goes to bring him some tea. And I just want to be clear, for the rest of your meeting here, he tells her to go do stuff in her own house. And she does it immediately without question.
That definitely gets a raised eyebrow from Lachlan. Like it's very obvious that troubles him. But he's not gonna, blow up the conversation over it. And he will say, I will be getting financing and media backing from Sir Maximilian Jacobson. All we have to do.
Oh, Jacobson. Always okay.
Look,
if he's providing the money, it's fine. But you know what? I don't trust that guy. He's slimy.
Oh, 100%. But look, all we have to do is let him sell some textbooks to a bunch of peasants. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Exactly. Yes. All right. Okay. That's all it takes. I'm behind that.
He just wants to export educational materials to a bunch of backwater shitholes.
Okay. If that's all it takes to get you the funding and popularity that you need, yeah. All right. I mean, look, obviously we can just ram this down the people's throats with our 5 votes. But if we can get the people behind it, we can turn this into a really positive spin. And I am nothing if not a man of the people.
And that is why you and I get along, Bassett. We are both people pleasers at heart.
He pulls out a cigarette, lights it, just starts smoking.
In my house?
Well, it's Xenia's house, but yeah.
Oh, true. I think Lachlan's gonna be like, "Don't fucking smoke in my house."
Okay. I mean, there's a dark look that he gives you for a moment, and then he just goes, "Okay," and then he puts it out in a cigarette ashtray.
Much appreciated.
My apologies.
Feel free to smoke on the deck. There are many of them.
Yes, I've seen them all. No, I'll smoke in the car on the way back. I'm sure I can hold off just this once.
Excellent.
I hadn't realized that you were so... well...
Do you know what cigarette smoke will do to those paintings? Terrible, terrible things. Anyhow,
when you say that, he smiles and says,
very productive.
"Ah, yes. All of these new paintings acquired by your art director. Yes, I've heard about her."
I don't know her very well. I went off to get on this
Seems
venture.
as if you don't know her very well at all.
Yes. Anything else?
Oh no, you haven't seen your fiance in so many months. Please don't allow me to interrupt. Xenia, so nice as always to see you. And he leans forward to kiss her on the forehead and says, "Do be a good girl while I'm gone," and leaves. As he leaves, you can hear that his limousine is playing riotously loud soundtracks that he obviously wrote. Like, it's his own rap track. And Xenia is looking at you. How do I put this? Previously, she was the widow overlooking the cliffside while in the rain, thinking about the mysterious circumstances that her husband died in. Now, she's just like, did you bring me anything?
Of course I did. I have brought you a case of the finest drink imaginable. It's newly going to be imported here. I can't remember what the name of it was, but Lachlan would. Periphery Gold. It's excellent. I've had a little bit of it myself, but I figured I would wait to truly indulge until I had a chance to see you once again.
Oh, well, let's have a can together.
Yeah, until like it's probably like in kegs, or I guess it would be in I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah,
she pours out 2 glasses regardless.
Sure. I didn't realize you had such a close relationship with the Baron Bassett.
Sebastian helped raise me, and he was a tutor for me for a lot of my childhood. My parents are kind of busy. I mean, I guess they were kind of busy. I haven't really thought about them a lot since you left. I've been spending a lot of time talking to your art director. Actually, I spend most of my time with your art director. We've been going out incognito. It's kind of fun sometimes.
Well, I'm glad you're having a good time. Yeah,
she's been helping me. She's been talking to me about, and then she starts uncontrollably weeping into her beer that she's still sipping.
Oh boy. Yeah, Lachlan will like move to comfort her. He'll like move to hold her, and he'll say, I understand you are much closer to your family than I was, but it's not easy for any of us. I think there's like a very weird mix of expression on that we see on Lachlan's face, and I think just to give this a little bit of juxtaposition with Eric and Kuro, Lachlan seems sad, but he doesn't really seem. He almost seems more angry than anything. And it's like he's keeping it kind of held back, but it's, as opposed to coming out as like genuine grief, it seems like there's just kind of this like seething anger under the surface about the whole circumstances of the deaths. And it isn't super clear what that's about, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Then the scene is you comforting your fiancée as she wordlessly mourns her family that she still mostly refuses to acknowledge is actually dead.
Sure. Yeah, I think.
So on a happier note, anybody else got anything they want to do?
Sure, my fucking purity test by the investigations. How about that?
Oh my god.
You show up at the Planetary Security Command Center in the capital.
Yeah.
You're escorted to
AP. I'm sorry, I have to interject real quick because we spoke about this in character creation, and I have bad reputation, so I assume a lot of the stuff, like of the events of whatever transpired, is kind of known. This isn't going to be a surprise to me, right?
Yes.
Like, what is right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You arrive, and you're escorted to a briefing room. What do they call it? The police holding rooms? Yeah, it's a nice
holding
one.
rooms,
the chairs have rollers on them, but there's still a thing on the desk to attach handcuffs to.
Yeah, I understand.
Someone walks in across from you. She looks kind of familiar to you, but it's not Audrey Lafayette. And she puts a folder down on the table and says, "So, Baron, thank you for coming here voluntarily.
Came as quickly as I could.
What can you tell me about your family's participation in the lake bombing?"
My family had no participation in the lake bombing as far as direct influence. I understand that some sort of technical assistance from one of my lesser houses and technicians may has been around, but our own internal investigations have cleared them of any intentional wrongdoing. And I'm here just as a formality. Like I'm and willing and showing a willingness to cooperate with any sort of investigations and proceedings.
So you believe you have fully cleared House Davies of any responsibility in regards to the lake bombing, correct? You're willing to stake your noble reputation on that?
Yes, I am. Since the accident, we have went over and completely revamped all sorts of we have I make up some sort of plan here that we've had like a 59-step new plan that we put into process, and since then I've had no additional further accidents. And I would also like to note that this is the standard laid out by House Lafayette's own security measures that we are following along closely as well.
You don't need to tell me
to do that.
about House Lafayette.
I'm using this as almost like an internal PR thing for these people too, right?
You don't
like
need
I'm getting
to
ahead of the
me.
problem and like doing this shit. Okay.
She pulls a picture out and says, "Do you recognize this man?" And she is showing you a picture of the head of the Aki Herzog crime family, who's meeting with several members of your tech team. They're in a bar having a beer together.
I mean, yes, I know who that is.
And do you know who these people are? And she starts pointing to the members of House Davies.
I believe some of these are House Davy members.
I see.
Yeah.
So she's taking notes, and then she says, "What's your relationship with Sebastian Bassett?"
We don't see eye to eye. I understand that he is there's some fire starter pilot, and that I can respect.
She shows you a picture of Arkady Aki Herzog meeting with what's cool. I mean, he might be a little bit younger, but Sebastian Bassett in this picture is clearly like 4 years younger. And she says, "And what do you know about the relationship that your father had between these two men?"
Nothing but above board.
And you would be willing to
that much about the affairs
transmit your family's records in regards to any business dealings that you, the Aki Herzog Collective Union, and House Bassett may have had?
AP, out of character.
Yep.
I assume everything that I've done or anything that they have done, as far as I know, and my house's collections is above board.
Yep.
Yeah, so I have nothing to fear doing this.
Sure. Do you show any hesitation here?
No, I don't. But I wanted to make sure before I sign on here, knowing that like I'm sitting on some fucking like, you know, I have blood on these documents, being like, sure, here you go, like an idiot. But no, but as far as I know, I'm completely immune to any wrongdoing here. So yeah, I would be happy to cooperate, and yeah, I'd be willing to stake all our family records. They have been open since the lake bombing, so I don't know if there's anything else I could provide you.
She finishes writing the notes down and then slides you the piece of paper and a pen over that she's been writing on and says, "Can you add your signature at the bottom of this page for your sworn testament?"
I'm going to read the paperwork and be like, "Yep, this is language," because I'm not a lawyer.
I'm looking at it, and it's pretty much a verbatim copy of everything that you've sworn to so far in this interview.
This is recorded, and everything I've said is truthful under oath, right? Like that's what this means. Yeah, sure. Then I sign it.
Okay,
sure. Here you are.
Thank you for your cooperation, Baron. I think that's all planetary security is going to need from you. You can consider your participation in this investigation closed.
I don't really believe that, but okay.
When she says that, she turns to look at the mirrored window behind her, and she hears a knock and gestures for you to go to the door.
Yeah, I go to the door.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave. There's no issue here. I mean, all of the cops in this building look at you like you're some sort of criminal.
Of course they do. That's what all cops see are criminals, so that's fine. Unless there are other cops, so that's fine. Gentlemen,
okay,
ladies,
Earl. What's your plan when you get home? I mean, you have this outstanding interview from your boy. You could go meet with your fiance. The world is your oyster here. What do you got for me before your wedding? What's your priority? What's that one scene we get to see?
Yeah, I feel like the interview was with who again? My boy.
Oh, James Shives from Donovan Broadcasting Corporation,
right.
the Lyran Commonwealth, extending their reporting team across the inner sphere.
I think Kuro's priority would be checking in with Jana and making sure that like her house affairs, our house affairs, and any political shifts that have been happening while we've been away. Seeing where her so a scene with her.
Okay, so you go to meet with Jenna. She's at one of her family's transportation company estates, like a business, and a warehouse. And she's talking to a young woman who you haven't seen before, and she says, yes, excellent. These arrangements will work out perfectly. That's what you need moved, then we can get that done right away, Rosamund. And she says, please, it's Rosa. We're just moving things from one estate to the other. And let's get coffee next week. Okay. Jana just walks away from the conversation and says,
I've returned.
She reaches out to awkwardly hug you.
I think Kuro reciprocates the hug. I apologize for having to run off, but it was necessary.
Oh no, it's fine. Look, I've become very good friends with several of your friends' fiancés. We've really formed a sort of political coalition, while you've been gone. Very exciting things have been happening. As she talks more and more about politics, she becomes more animated and less awkward. She says, you know what? Why don't you come over with me? I've been hearing a lot about replacing the president of the Senate, Sir Erwin Faber Lake Reincolt. I feel like that would be a huge mistake. His parliamentarian knowledge is unbelievable. And he's been a strong and steady supporter of the Lake family. Well, I mean, he is a member of the Lake family for decades. Incredible mech pilot as well, from what I hear, before his accident. But I think that if there's any attempt to knock him out of his seat, we need to keep him right where he is.
That is certainly a deep conversation that we should have. I'm still uncertain as to where I stand on it, but I'm
telling you where you should stand on it. It's only right that this elder politician with such vast knowledge, I mean, who can really compare to? Why would we remove him at all? Give me any reason at all why we would remove him.
We find ourselves in a divide.
She slowly turns her head towards you and says, what are we divided about? As her whole body moves to directly engage with you.
No.
Explain it to me in terms that I can understand.
Apologies, milady. I don't mean
lady.
Us.
I'm your fiancé. Surely you can just call me Jana. Why are you so nervous, Kuro? You can tell that she's starting to lose patience and her skin's getting flushed. And this is a unusually large amount of emotion from her. And
you know how I am. I'm not always best in these. You bring out the emotions in me. I apologize.
Maybe it would be best for you to direct the battlefield, and I can direct the political circumstances. We should probably command where we're trained at.
I do not disagree with you there. However, I do believe that we can work together, as the politics are a battlefield, much as the field of battle in mechs and tanks. What I meant by a divide is we find ourselves in a coalition as it is.
And what coalition is that? This coalition I've never heard of.
Well, you said yourself, you've been making friends with those that are close to me and mine, as well as my lance, and those friends that I have forged over battle and politics.
I see. So we should vote the way that they want.
We should sway them in a consensus where we all can benefit.
So even if we don't believe in their cause and it would hurt our interests and the common good, we would still vote for it because you'd feel bad.
That is not what I'm saying.
I thought that you were the kind of person to act with your heart. Isn't that what you're always saying in your martial arts videos?
Indeed.
To do what is just and right all the time? To never move an inch past the line, if that's where you believe you need to hold?
I think there's like a moment of pause where Kuro reflects on the conversation.
Like we actually get black and white of like a younger Kuro, like there's a line and you can't go past it. You have to do what it takes to hold that line. This is how you do it. And then he does like some martial arts moves and he's like, it's more than just a martial art, it's a state of mind.
Yeah.
You have to protect your heart as well as your body.
Your heart and soul are one. We had many conversations in our travel, and while I do not waver from my stance, I do believe it is important that we communicate with my compatriots why we value the people as we do. And that is why I am coming to you. I want to know what has been happening. When I returned, there was much turmoil amongst my lance and my friends. What has been happening here while we've been gone?
Well, for me, there has been some really great movement in shipping and transport industry.
Excellent.
Yes, I mean there are several new small dropship ports being set up all over the planet at key locations, and that requires materials being moved, things being pulled down from the asteroid belt, processed. I mean, it has been an economic boom all across the planet. Oh, and we got all these nice soldiers to help protect us. I mean, I feel like it's a bit of an overreach by March Lord Sandoval, but, you know, it's not costing us anything, and they don't seem to be doing anything besides protecting us.
Yes, I believe there might be two sides to that coin, and that's what concerns me.
What's the other side?
That they are trying to secure more political power in some way, shape, or form by...
That's ridiculous. The March Lord would never interfere with planetary politics. This is the Federated Suns.
Assuming that they will not interfere is what leads to folly.
That kind of thing doesn't happen here.
Regardless, we should prepare ourselves. And that said, I'm glad that things are expanding.
Then how do we prepare ourselves?
Well, that's what I've been working on.
Yes, I'm talking specifically about protecting, if necessary, our current president of the Senate, our chancellor. And she takes a step forward to you and, gets in close breathing range and says, "And how are you going to vote exactly? With your heart or with your friendship?"
The two are intertwined, though. And I will vote where my heart lies.
Well, when you're marrying Lachlan McDougal, let me know.
I knew I'd like you. Well, we shall see what I can figure out with Lachlan. Until then, I'll vote where my heart lies.
We're going to talk more about this at dinner.
Indeed.
I've got several folders full of debate topics.
And I have some research to do. It seems there has been a lot going on while I've been away.
Before the ball and your marriages, I understand, Lachlan, you want to do a quick political ad on the Donegal Broadcasting Corporation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll do. I think Lachlan will use it to announce his candidacy.
Okay. I mean, so James is sitting there and, he's got his talk show chair and you're in the guest spot and he says, "I'm James Jives and this is Donegal Broadcasting Corporation, DBC." And, he turns and says, "Tonight we've got a special guest with us again, Baron Lachlan McDougal. Now, Baron, I understand you've been undergoing quite a bit of turmoil locally lately. Some have said you've abandoned your duties. Others point out you've begun charitable contributions helping out the poor people of Whiter from a raid of pirates, thieves, and murderers. And now you've returned in your moment of triumph."
I tell you what, James, my detractors would have you believe that my work on Whiter was at the expense of the people of Whittington. I am here to tell you that it was for them as much as the people of Whiter. We will be benefiting from my actions. And I want to show everybody how I lead with both my heart and my head, James. I am doing things for the good of all and for the good of us. And that is why I am happy to announce today on your show, on your excellent broadcast program, that I will be the next Senate president.
So, I mean, we get to zoom in on James, who looks confused. And then the chyron at the bottom updates with like a next Senate president candidate, ? Campaign announced, surprise reveal. James recovers and says, "That is incredible news. Now, of course, you'll be running against the current incumbent Chancellor and President of the Senate, Sir Erwin Faber Lake Reincolt. Now, he has recently had some harsh criticisms to say to you. I think we have that on the roll, and we get him speaking to James on a big screen that says, "They did not announce to me where they were going. They have relinquished their oaths, and they have yet to answer any Comstar messages. I don't know where they are, and I don't know what they're doing, but they've taken their entire security force with them. This is unacceptable of any noble. You cannot just go crusading off into the darkness. What if they die? What if we die? What if the Countess dies, the one that they have sworn their oaths of blood and steel to defend? And that is why at the next Senate session, I will be censuring them and stripping them of their oaths." So James, that goes down, and James says, "This was just 2 days before your arrival on planet. Baron Lachlan McDougal, what do you have to say about your opposition candidate?"
I would like to say this. I wanted this to be an amicable exchange of ideas in the political marketplace. I see my esteemed colleague, the Chancellor, I saw him in the utmost of light, but his misunderstanding of our actions couldn't be greater. If he thinks that Whittington can be a closed-off ecosystem separated from the rest of both the Federated Suns and the greater sector at large, he will destroy himself in his isolation. I will not let that happen. I represent a new way of doing things. What you have to understand is that by our lance heading off into the stars, heading off into the darkness, as he calls it, to make better everything around us, we make Whittington safer as well. I'm building a co-prosperity sphere with my friend Maximilian Jacobson, and I want you to help me.
The Chiron at the bottom, funded by Maximilian Jacobson! Exclamation point. Fascinating. Your previous stance was something of a political moderate, or some have said political shadow. But now you seem to be taking a stance of open trade and prosperity. Is that correct?
Let me say this, James. We will be looking at trade policy across the board. But first and foremost, I will champion the people of Whittington.
Now, as much as the public might get behind you on this, what really matters are the votes in the Senate. Do you think you have the votes, Lachlan, or are you still campaigning?
I'm always campaigning, James.
Lachlan McDougall, inscrutable, and running for president of the Senate. Thank you very much, Barry McDougall. Good luck to you.
Thank you, James. Always a pleasure.
As that turns off, Jana turns to look at you, Kuro, and is just like, did you know about this?
I did not.
I think it's time for you to pick which side you're on. Ours or theirs. I don't know if you heard what I heard up there, but what I heard is a man desperate to get any sort of recognition at all.
It is troubling.
Can you explain to me what exactly you did that he claims such credit for enriched Whittington? And just a reminder, if you can't answer this question now, you're going to have a lot harder time when you walk out of that Senate chamber and someone asks you to explain your vote.
We made connections to outer worlds where we protected them from piracy. I believe that is a beautiful thing.
So it's something anyone with a gun could have done. It didn't require any of you specifically.
Time out. Hold on, real quick. Out of character. Did the NDA extend to when we get back?
Oh, that's a good point.
No. So that you can't say we were doing it for Jacobson, but you can say you were hired to do a job to clear out the pirates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were trade partners with Whittington. That.
Well, when you say that, she's like, well, this is news to me, as I am aware of all of the current trade partners of Whittington, as economic trade reform is my platform. What planet exactly did you visit and create greater bonds with?
Out of character, yeah, because I'm trying to think of how Kuro would approach this, because I mean he's an intelligence officer, but as a player I'm like, man, how do I do this?
Good luck dealing with your wife, bro.
I know.
Get good. I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know.
He said get good.
Yeah, get good.
I don't know. It's tough.
That is not for me to disclose at this time, unfortunately.
You haven't even been married yet, and you're already keeping secrets from me?
This is part of my job, though.
So you did it on behalf of the Federated Suns military intelligence?
I cannot disclose that. Suffice to say,
I'm gonna need you to
NDA.
make a check.
Smart move.
This is
Yeah.
look. If this succeeds, she'll buy it, but you're gonna need to
Okay.
make a check.
oh god.
Hide behind the NDA. Good play.
I will allow you to make either acting or negotiation. There's no straight out deception roll.
Oh my god. What am I doing?
Yeah, great question. What are you doing?
I have no idea.
I mean, your intention is to get her to not read any further into it.
Yeah,
Correct.
that is my intention. And I mean,
Described how you did it
let's see. What
by just dangling it out there and hoping she buys it. That's
I know.
your task. So I don't know.
This is setting a great example to all future husbands in the audience. Also,
sorry. Hey, you know, sometimes.
Look, I watch a lot of Tom Clancy movies. It never works out. They always know. And the fucking like
Exactly.
7 SWAT terrorist dudes jump through your window, being like, "Honey, what's happening?" Like you have to explain. So it happens. It's fine.
Well, and I think like Kuro's intention here was, you know, he went out to bring back some level of prosperity to his family as well as to Whittington. But like how he frames it, like dealing with piracy, making sure that traders can like pass through freely, that kind of stuff. That's kind of the framing that he's going for.
okay. Yeah.
Fuck.
That's absolutely a fail. I don't even need to know what your skill bonus is.
No, it's a 2, so it's terrible. Can I use a story point to re-roll here?
You can use an edge to reroll. Yeah.
Okay. I can re-roll both, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
You better
Either
reroll
or both.
Oh, okay. So that's a 12.
I'm gonna tell you, you failed.
Oof.
What?
You're not. So I'm telling you that she appears to buy it from you,
Okay.
but she's filing this away because she's very upset about this conversation, and she doesn't want to push anymore. Because if you're willing to play the "I'm going to lie to you that it was about military intelligence," then you must be truly desperate to hide whatever it is. And now she's very upset.
Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel. I mean, would that be something that I'd be able to pick up on, or is that something that
I don't think so. No.
With the 12, I wouldn't be able to get
let's
that.
put it this way.
No, she leaves. You're like, okay, well, dinner will be ready soon or whatever. And you're like, took care of that.
Yeah, no. I don't want to be that kind of husband. Though. That's the thing.
She's her normal level of detached from civil conversation from this point.
It's just
on.
It's just a
Yeah, there's lots of blank,
That's all, just a
blank stares and minor conversation. Yeah, I don't think you really pick up too much on it, but you know that she's a little upset about what's happened here.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Let's talk about the wedding for our very last thing that happens.
Perfect.
The three of you
Before
are
the
at
wedding, this happens.
Three of you are on the Kerensky ball. All three of you are up on a dais with your fiancés about to get married. The ceremony has been relatively short as far as even normal weddings go. There's a lot of guests. Maximilian Jacobson has pointedly escorted Haru Takao Moritomo as his guest. Several people that we've mentioned before are in attendance, including Emil, who is the concierge back at the Place to Rest Your Sword, Spaceport Bar. And the priest asks if anyone objects, and, is about to go forward. Like, of course no one's going to object. And someone stands up on one of the bride's side of the aisle and moves center aisle down, first row, perfect military precision. He's wearing a Federated Sons military uniform, and he says, "I object. This creature that calls itself a man is in fact an honorless, an oathbreaker that brings dishonor on this ceremony and in sight of our Christian God. We all know of his dereliction of his duty and oath, but what you may not know is that he professed his true love and intent for marriage to another woman just weeks before ignoring her and suddenly finding himself deeply in love with Lady Ito. And everybody, like, when this started out, they were like shocked, and now they're like, double shock? He is cruelty, he is lies, and he lacks honor. To this I object 1,000 times. Since when it barks, it calls for duels to the death. I so challenge you, Jasper, to a duel of mechs on January the 2nd. Enough time to put your affairs in order and begat a spawn whose honor represents those of your ancestors rather than your own. And then Yohei Genji leaves one of his ceremonial swords on the ground and storms out of the Kerensky Ball. People have lost, no one's saying anything, but people have lost their minds. Several people on both sides of the aisle are openly weeping, wondering what the fuck is going on. Your now wife in just a couple of minutes is like gone. Like her spirit has left her body at the knowledge that you proposed to another woman.
Now I have to kill him just for ruining my wedding. No, that's really how I feel about it.
So why didn't everybody go ahead and take 3 experience points?
Amazing.
We're gonna talk about the aftermath of the Kerensky Ball next episode, and then we're gonna do the senatorial session.
And I'm gonna duel this asshole.
You do the asshole in 3027. He challenged you on January 2nd, specifically so you'd have time to have a kid. He doesn't want to end your whole family line right here, right now. He just wants to kill you.
Sure. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh my god.
All right. Bring it on, buddy.
Love it.
Good luck. What kind of mech does he have?
He pods a dragon.
Oh,
You're
nice.
fucked.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Just a reminder, he's 10 years older than you, a seasoned military commander, and he's got 10 tons on you, but yeah.
That's fine.
Well, but you'll be in mechs, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'm right, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't see how I can lose if I'm right.
Oh, man.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
So, I've been talking to several of our potential guests, and I think in 2 to 3 extra episodes we're going to be bringing somebody on to do some stuff. And yeah, let's maybe do a back check on this episode. How did we feel about it? I feel like this is one of the densest episodes we've had, and there was a lot of philosophical and emotional stuff happening, not a lot of ridiculous stuff.
I feel like I'm not gonna say I'm not blindsided by some of the consequences, but I definitely feel like we're still coming to grips with the world and what it means to be a noble, and a lot of the consequences and actions we're doing are because of us player ignorance and not character ignorance.
Potentially.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't know. I like, I'm willing to say, like, for like the leaving Whittington stuff, that was definitely surprising to me, but I can also fully understand Lachlan not like thinking that through. But I kind of see what you mean on that. But also it does seem like they don't really have the political power to get this censure to happen. So
yeah. Like we had 2 extra days on the planet to get our affairs in order, and no one brought up being like, you know, like, did you get it all clear for, like, is this going to be a problem?
Yeah, that could have been it, where it's like in those 2 days, I feel like, at least as Kuro, and this is definitely player knowledge, where I was like thinking one thing about it. Yeah. Where they probably would have communicated saying like, we are going off world to do something. But that said, like, they're also young. I don't know. It's possible. But he is a trained military officer in some regard. So
yeah, like, obviously we owe fealty. Like, hold on. So like that, yeah, like we wouldn't. Okay, like I would not have taken the job had I known that means that, like, I don't have my service. Like, I don't fulfill my service for the year. Right.
It is debatable.
Like, I wouldn't have like, especially for me, right? Like for Jasper is like the military dude, and like he does his service. So like to
I
be
mean, this
to be
oath
like a
is mostly honorary. No, like what he's
Oh,
asking of you is
no.
more than has been asked of other knights in the past. But
Got
it
it.
is technically
but-
true to the wording of the oath.
every noble is called to serve for X number of days a year.
That is a Pendragon thing. That is not a Mechwarrior
That's-
Federated Sons thing.
That is what every noble does in a feudal society. That is exact. It
Okay,
doesn't
Eric.
work.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah, I don't think that's
historically
true.
accurate at
Yeah,
all.
that
The way
sounds-
that was structured is wildly different across cultures and time
No.
periods.
In general, it's you're required to serve not like I'm not saying for only minimum of like 40 days like it would be in Pendragon, but like in general it's like you're a noble, you're called to serve as a defense person
No, sure,
for a certain amount of
in a
time. You're on the
huge-
hook. In
but in a
exchange, you get
huge
your
amount
land.
But in a lot of cases, it's very rarely would it be laid out in that way where it's like X period of time is always every year. It's much more often in feudal systems that I've read about is like you have to call your banners when the king requests you.
Yes.
But like we weren't.
Sure.
So like I see
The
where
king
you're
called
coming
the banners
from.
when we're not there.
But
is,
that
like,
didn't
and
happen,
then
though.
us getting punished.
He didn't
But
call
that didn't
any
happen.
banners.
It's
Right.
them saying we could have called the banners and you weren't there, so then you're in trouble.
Yeah, so he's gonna censor us. I'm gonna be like, we're his only knights. Like, who's
No,
gonna
so
follow you? Like, that's
I think-
ultimately is the play.
I think that's the point that AP is trying to get across, at least unless I'm
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
Okay.
Is it's
I did
less like
misunderstand
it's
that.
less like what we did is according to the way that this law has always played out, everybody would understand it's not that big of a deal for like the Endosteel Lance to like not be here for a couple months.
Okay,
But this guy is trying to use the way the oath is written as opposed to the common law version of the oath to be like, we're going to blast these guys politically because they did kind of snub me by not telling me they were going. Is that more?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not
I guess
that.
Telling
Just to be
them-
clear, for him, this is life or death. Like, if this young woman dies, that's it for the Lake family line.
Mm.
He can't have kids. She's it. If you aren't there 24/7 to protect her crib and destroy all of her enemies, like, there's no political deception or maneuvering here. He's just very upset that you aren't fulfilling that part of the oath. And again, he's interpreting the oath in a literal way, whereas in the past there's just been like, yes, we will defend when called, and I'm going
Right.
to go on a vacation for 2 years.
All right. AP, I have another question about the world. This might
Yes.
be for a later question and not
Yes.
really a recap for this one though. Is can I hire a mercenary to fight for me in my honor duel?
Ooh, that's a really good
Dang.
question.
The answer to that question is yes, but
Can I
I
hire
feel
a
like
personal champion?
I also feel like the answer is yes, but I want to point out you will personally suffer a huge loss of honor as someone who went on television and challenged a rapper to a mech battle.
Oh, that was me, I think.
Okay,
That was
Yeah,
Lava.
that-
but
wasn't
Eric
me.
also he challenged somebody. He was like, "Let's do it."
No, I didn't accept the duel.
Wait, what?
I didn't. No, someone challenged me to a duel.
I'm pretty
Not
sure what happened.
not him.
I
Not
think
the one
what,
from this game.
I
this
thought
session.
what happened was that I said on TV that
Yeah.
Jasper should duel him, and then
Yes,
Jasper then was asked about that and was like, "Yeah, sure, I would duel."
yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, okay. Just pick a time and place.
So
or something, maybe,
you
but, yeah.
have gained a reputation for challenging your enemies to honorable duels via
Sure.
mechs.
And
If you
look,
chicken out of this one, look,
Well,
it's your noble prerogative, but
here's the secret.
yeah,
No, this is the secret. I hire a mercenary to the duel, and if they lose, then I never admit that duel that agreement was set up in the first place.
uh-huh.
So like I win. That's the play.
that's messed
so the problem is if I get the other person to agree to it or not. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Jasper's not that kind of person. I would fight my own battles. But if I was a lesser noble, I absolutely would do that.
For sure. I mean, on the
I don't know any good mercenaries.
I don't know. So I think
I don't have a Rolodex of good mercs, so this is fine.
I mean, you know a guy who
Okay.
does.
to piggyback off of Eric's point, because there is something to be said for the point he's making, I think, about like sometimes consequences feeling like they're coming fast. And I'm not sure if it's something I necessarily dislike yet or not, or if this is like something we want in the feel of the system, but it definitely feels like it's gotten to the point where since we only can really do like 1 or 2 things a year, it feels like it definitely feels like there's never enough time to do everything you want to do, and there's always going to be something some hole that we can't plug the hole for.
Excellent.
But I think that might be the intent, right? So
no,
I like
too. I want to clarify that, because I agree, and that I think that is the intention. However, the writer of that is that I need perfect information to make the opportunity cost of what I decide to do and what I don't.
That's fair.
So like I need or as perfect as fun and can allow. So like I want to know what my options are that I can do, so that I can weigh the decisions of what I prioritize in a year. And so it doesn't feel like it's just, I'm always blindsided all the time. Like I appreciate a blindside every now and again, but it shouldn't feel like it's coming every single year.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna say, like, from the, I think it's an interesting. This episode there was a lot of interesting dynamics that developed in the relationships. And I think that's kind of where we've been leaning a lot, where the relationships are kind of growing, and then we get blindsided by these things and opportunities show themselves. And like as a player, for instance, like in the Jana scene, like I personally was like, oh man, yeah, how would Kuro respond to her, to like, because personally as a player, I feel terrible lying to this woman that I'm about to marry, or attempting to like not say the truth, like basically like, pass. Yeah. And I guess like from Mechwarrior like perspective, like what's a way that that you manage that expectation?
Can you rephrase the question a little bit? I'm not quite sure I get you.
Sorry, I'm a little bit out of it today.
You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I guess like if I get stuck in that moment, like what is there? Do you guys feel okay like me like asking questions to the player or to the other players?
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that shit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being like, hold on, I feel like I would know the right answer here, but I don't.
Yeah.
As a player, I'm lacking it. So like, what would you do? And like you asking that though is like, the thing was we kind of like joked with you and didn't really give you an answer, but the truth is that like we don't know what the answer is. Honestly, it's like I don't know, man. Like this is your wife. Like, how do you want to proceed here, man? Like it's just that we don't have a good answer for you for that. But if there was something like Crusader Kingsy related, like I wouldn't mind giving you my 2 cents or whatever, like I'll give you the politics stuff. Sam will give you the politics stuff. AP will give you politics stuff. You want to reach out like as an audience so we can give you the most informed or like cool idea that you can do is for Kuro. Absolutely. But that was really like the weird case of the first one also being like, dude, I don't know, man.
That's true. You know being the first one have to deal with like the emotional side of the relationship. By the way, AP, that was really great, like how you played that, I think. So props to you.
We'll see how
my wedding's ruined, so I gotta have to
god damn it. Well, now, exactly. Now I feel like Kuro is just in perpetual damage control at this point. He's like, I gotta save my wedding. I gotta console my cousin. Like figure out something good on there. Oh,
and in the background, building is this McDougal supremacy rising.
Oh god!
I've done the math, and the votes of House Paku and House Hiroka are going to be incredibly important in this upcoming vote. So choose wisely, because it's going to be pivotal.
All I'm saying is that we may end up having scenes about this next week, but Lachlan is going to expect implicitly that his friends would vote for him, and if they don't, he will be so betrayed.
quick question, AP. Did I end up gaining any, maybe this is a question for next session too, but did I end up gaining anything from those tariffs for protecting agriculture this year? Because my
they didn't
write-up
hurt you.
Okay, because my write-up for this year was to continue those.
Yes.
Because you said to propose stuff.
Yep.
And then I was going to be my proposal to make sure that was working, but I didn't
know
if it was actually working or not. You don't need to make a proposal
to continue them. You would just need to vote down any measures to stop them.
Okay. Or even like expanding them if it means I get more money. You know,
you will
like
get
something
more
like
money.
that, right?
You will get it from your own people, but yes, you will get more money.
Okay.
Should we send you? Because
you can each send me one proposal.
Okay.
If you don't have it ready now and you don't have it ready over the week, you can give it to me right beforehand. But that does mean I'll have to stop and be like, okay, well, this is how everyone would vote on it.
Lachlan's just going to do the Jacobson.
Okay.
Allow me to export educational materials vote.
So there are currently 4 issues. If you're adding the Jacobson, what would we call that? Revoking the ban on.
It'll be called the McDougall-Jacobson Education Reform Bill.
How Ronald of you.
Majurf.
I love that Jacobson.
Push through the Majurf.
I do want to say the highlight for me for this week, it was honestly that moment where I realized you were trying to be like, oh, here's like this money laundering scheme. And I was like, oh no, AP, here's this, I'm going to try to be the Senate president scheme.
Look, I got to tell you, there were a whole bunch of other things he was going to offer you monetarily, and you ran with that. And so I was like, wow, shit, I don't have to give you any money. Turns out political corruption is all it takes. Okay, so there are currently 5 issues on the board. Some of them should be more obvious than others. The ones that you don't know about, you can try to uncover at the ball, as per normal, and immediately after the ball, the senatorial session. Any other final thoughts about today? Then I want to say, you guys normally are like, thanks for a great game, Arthur. I want to say thank you, friends, because this was a really wacky, twisty session where I was just like, curveball! Curveball again! Your wives are all hanging out together. Second curveball!
Yeah.
A lot of curveballs.
Then at the end, I was like, oh, curveball, knuckleball! You get challenged to a duel. And he's better than you in every way.
Especially after the conversation that
he doesn't have pilot abilities.
No. So, dude,
if you don't think he's got edge score, he has his own character sheet. He has SPAs.
I don't have PC protection.
You do not?
Oh no.
Dude,
okay.
Yeah.
This is a genuine duel.
Yeah.
This is an actual genuine duel.
Yes, he also has plot points.
Oh no,
boy, Jasper. I mean,
Right.
after the conversation you had with Kuro and making mistakes, like, dude, like,
I don't make mistakes. I gotta do
Jasper's
it.
like, all right, I need to buy an assault mech immediately.
Oh no, well here's the thing. Yeah, like, would Lachlan let me go into a duel against a dragon with just the hatchet man?
Oh, I forgot that he
Like, would you let me go against the dragon with just the hatchet man?
That's only 10 tons. That's not much of a difference.
Choice. Such a Sophie's
Yeah,
choice.
but I'm not playing against an AI. I'm playing against an actual other player. Like, the battle values shouldn't be that equal. Like, this is an unequal battle, right?
I think we should.
Are you asking as a player or are you asking as a character?
I'm asking as a player. I'm asking of course I'm asking as a player right now.
I think that's a really good question, because Lachlan would definitely want to help you out and would be invested in helping you out and would not want to see you like have to like punch above weight class unless you wanted to.
It's 15 tons higher than me.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, the only reason that I'm hesitant is like I feel like Lachlan would just be real cagey about anyone else piloting the William Wallace.
Do we go by battle value 2.0?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's only like a casual.
There
300
are more
points higher than me.
calculations based on your piloting and gunnery scores that alters that.
I think if Jasper
and the battle value system can't evaluate your special pilot abilities.
It's probably a 1300 battle versus a 900, or maybe 1300 versus 1000. It might be, as a player, I'm the one with the 1000.
So to
probably fucked.
Yeah, I think like, to answer your question, Eric, after thinking about it for a second, if Jasper came and asked him, I think he would like grit his teeth and would let you pilot his mech, and he would be like, it would be, watching somebody do it. Yeah, okay. if you can,
I want to outplay him, dude. If I outplayed him, dude, I will never accept a duel again, and I would just fucking ride high, being
well. And you don't you get extra like renown for taking down a heavier class mech?
Correct. You get more fame.
I absolutely
so you'll
will
get famous
for this, or infamy, I guess, from other people. Yeah, I'll kill him. That's fine. I'll duel him. No, I don't. I looked up a dragon, right?
Yeah.
And I know his battle. I know his mech. His mech is the Dragon 1N, like a classic dragon, right?
You gotta jump behind him and just blast him in the back.
You mean I don't know what every like ancestral mech is on this planet?
Yeah,
I not know his mech. He was going to be my mentor for a little bit. Of course, I know what he pilots.
Okay. Yes, he does pilot a standard Dragon 1N.
All right. So a Dragon 1N has 2 Medlas, an AC5, and an LRM 10. I actually have more firepower than that. The thing is that negates it is the LRMs, and if I can just close the distance on the LRMs by jumping right, I'll probably be fine.
If you can jump and get to his back, you have a really good chance of winning.
Yeah. And otherwise, I'm just gonna use. I mean, I assume we fight in open terrain. Like, how do duels work? Is there terrain I can use? Can we pick where we battle?
Yes, you as the defender get to pick the location of the battle.
Okay, well, obviously I'm gonna pick a place with a lot of cover. And use this so he has to fire indirectly and then come at me.
I will send you a selection of battle maps.
Send me them, and I will study them over with the rest of the group, and then pick the tactically the best one. Thank you. This is great.
I love it.
All right, cool. I'm fucking cutting this cockpit in half. I'm doing it.
Do it.
I'm doing it.
Hell yeah.
So much for best friends and senpais. Now I'm gonna fucking murder this guy.
He ruined my wedding, dog.
He did murder me.
He ruined my wedding and called this out. I can't let that go.
That's pretty fucked.
Like, I'll ask.
On the other hand, everything.
Is there any way to solve this? Is there any way to solve this non-violently?
Yes.
Is that even on the table?
You can Alexander Hamilton 10 dual commandments and have seconds talk it out.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do first.
Oh, can I be your second?
Yeah, be my second. Yeah, that would go great.
Really? That's who you want to be your second?
No, I think
I thought you wanted to solve it peacefully.
Yeah, Kuro should be my second.
Now there's a mistake.
Lachlan just walks in and smacks the guy with the glove.
We should. Okay, so are we prepared that most of next session might be this duel?
Absolutely not. Next session is
yeah, it'd be 2 sessions
the ball,
from now.
It's the Senate session, then we do end of year, then it's the duel, then it's the guest.
Okay. All right, so then
and that's assuming we can do the ball and the session in one session, which is really unlikely. I've seen this show before.
We've done 8 episodes and we've done 2 years. We're literally on pace
not
for
even
doing
halfway
4 episodes
through
a year.
year 2.
Yeah, we're literally on.
We can figure out a good pace. We got this.
This is a good pace. I feel like we're look. I might be up tempoing you guys and hitting you guys with surprise, and that's intentional. But I feel like we're moving at a good pace.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Yes. I mean, I think we're definitely enjoying the pace that we're at.
Same. Yeah.
All right, we're way past end time, so all the folks at home are getting like an extra 20-30 minutes here. Any final closing thoughts?
No, great game, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Audience, thanks for supporting us. Patreons get to watch first. Have a good night.